morning. It's Friday, March 7th, and here's what we're working on this morning. Hamilton police are investigating a suspicious death at a home in Waterdown.
Canada is easing on some of U.S. tariff retaliation, but provinces say they're plowing ahead.
And the NHL trade deadline is approaching, and all eyes are on the Leafs to see what they do. Thank you for making us a part of your morning. Louis Butko, Emily Taylor, Brian Wood here with you. Emily Vukovic will be along in just a second. Simone Gavros reporting live in the field. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
And I do have to admit that I apologize to people who are out there working weekends, because I put a great emphasis on my Fridays.
Well,
so I know that there's a lot of people who are out there who work weekends and don't have the typical Monday to Friday.
You're like, it's not Friday.
No.
It doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it means something to me. So happy Friday to anybody and everybody who celebrates.
That's right. And some people will go, yay, Wednesday.
Yeah,
I'm off Thursday and Friday. You know, so enjoy if you're off this weekend. Yeah, it is Friday, 7th of March, and we're looking at some sunshine for the day today.
Love to hear that, Brian.
Yes, and we should hit the plus side temperature-wise as well. So, we'll take the sun. But we do have a little bit of light snow at the moment. So skies are going to clear as the day goes on. So this light snow that we're getting right now will come to an end. And we'll climb to +2. We're at -2 right now with a wind chill of -8. That wind is still going to be fairly strong and pesky throughout the day today. And tomorrow's going to be a chillier day, but we should see some sunshine as well. So we'll talk about that coming up in a few minutes. Let's look at traffic, and there's really nothing to see as usual, this particularly on a Friday. Friday's volumes are usually lighter. That's the 403 and Waterdown Road. That's one of our exclusive cameras. Let's go to our MTO traffic camera at Nikola Tesla Boulevard. We'll show you that we do have it's kind of right underneath the camera. So it's a disabled vehicle. It's off to the side. Toronto-bound lanes heading toward the right, as you can see. So that's it's not impeding any live lanes at all. Top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge, Toronto bound towards us. Same here at Third Line. There's no problems on the road so far today. So take it carefully. We'll look at weather and traffic coming up in a few minutes. Right now, the news.
Thank you, Brian. Hamilton police are investigating a suspicious death after a man was found dead inside a home in Waterdown. Simone Gavros joins us live from the scene with more. What can you tell us, Simone?
Well, Louis, details right now are very limited. Police say that they arrived here around 8 p.m. last night on Wakefield Lane here in Waterdown. It's about 7 minutes down the street from Clapperson's Corners. And right now, the house still remains roped off with police tape for this ongoing investigation. But the details, as mentioned, are just limited. We do know that a man was found dead inside the home. Now, right now, the street is quiet, but last night there was a large police presence up and down the street. Multiple police cars lined the road, and there was also a fire truck on scene. Police had the entire house roped off, which still remains the scene this morning. Officers could also be seen using their flashlights to search the front steps of the house. Now, there's still a lot of questions about the circumstances around this death, and we're still waiting to get those details from police. I was speaking with police earlier this morning. It's still very early on in this investigation, so they don't have a lot of information to share other than the initial tweet that was shared last night about their presence here on the street on Wakefield Lane in Waterdown. They are going to be canvassing the area for any information as well as video surveillance footage. We're going to be speaking to neighbors as well this morning to hear more about what the scene was like last night. For now, things back over to you, Emily.
Thanks, Simone. We have an update to a story Simone actually told you about yesterday morning. A 16-year-old who was injured in a targeted shooting in Stony Creek has died. The shooting happened around 4:20 yesterday morning near Highway 8 and Fruitland Road. Police say multiple shots were fired and the teen was taken to hospital in critical condition. Multiple vehicles were involved in the shooting. The homicide unit has now taken over the investigation, and police say another update will be released this morning.
Ottawa has suspended a second wave of retaliatory tariffs in response to another executive order from U.S. President Donald Trump pausing some new duties on Canada and Mexico. Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc shared on social media that Canada will delay planned retaliatory tariffs on $125 billion worth of U.S. products until April 2nd. Read out in the Oval Office, Trump linked the tariff relief to maintaining the flow of automobile parts that comply with the Canada-U.S.-Mexico agreement. More tariffs are planned for March 12th, when all steel and aluminum imports into the U.S. will be taxed. The White House insists its tariffs are about stopping the smuggling of fentanyl, but Trump's proposed taxes have caused a rift in the decades-old North American trade partnership.
Speaking on CNN, Premier Doug Ford has doubled down on Ontario's retaliatory measures following the announcement of U.S. President Donald Trump's latest tariff pause.
The only thing certain on these 30 days is uncertainty. I don't want to do this. I want to send more electricity. But he's basically, President Trump, it's not the American people. It's not even the Republicans or Democrats, because I talked to both of them. Republicans totally disagree with it, but God forbid they ever go out publicly and say it. Let's just put an end to this, and let's start building our economy. But as of Monday, this Monday, we're putting a tariff, 25% tariff on the electricity to the 1.5 million homes and businesses.
Ontario provides electricity to Minnesota, New York, and Michigan. Ford went on X to say a pause on some tariffs means nothing until Trump removes the threat of tariffs for good. St. Catharines Mayor Matt Cisco is one of two Canadian mayors who were denied entry to a conference at the White House this week. Cisco and Montreal Mayor Valérie Plante were denied accreditation, with officials from the U.S. Capitol saying they didn't have enough time to process the requests. The two mayors are in D.C. for a gathering of the Great Lakes and St. Lawrence Cities Initiative, made up of leaders on both sides of the border, including Hamilton Mayor Andrea Horwath and Burlington Mayor Marianne Mead Ward. They're there to speak with American lawmakers about the impacts tariffs could have on their cities.
When we talk about the border states on the U.S. side, we're talking about massive impacts, tens of billions of dollars of GDP that flows across the border. You know, and our friends in Wisconsin and Michigan and New York State, they understand that. And as I said, we're feeling pretty good about the conversations we're having. I think the longer that this goes on, the more pressure there's going to be to back away from it, because representatives and senators are going to continue to hear from their mayors and for their citizens.
U.S. President Donald Trump announced yesterday items covered by the USMCA Free Trade Treaty will be exempt from tariffs for a month. But he says tariffs on steel and aluminum are still coming on March 12th.
All right, let's check sports, and let's start on the ice, where today is the NHL trade deadline. Teams have until 3 p.m. to improve their roster for the final playoff push, and all eyes will be on the Leafs to see what GM Brad Treliving can pull off to help end the franchise's lengthy Stanley Cup drought. Now, ahead of a potential deal, the team placed forward Ryan Reeves on waivers yesterday. The 38-year-old winger has appeared in 35 games this season, recording 2 assists and 28 penalty minutes. Reeves is in the second year of a 3-year, $4.05 million contract, and if he clears waivers, will free up more than $1 million in cap space. TSN's Darren Dreger reporting the Leafs are actively on the hunt to add some depth up the middle by acquiring a center. Meanwhile, the Colorado Avalanche not waiting until the last minute to make a big deal. They acquired center Brock Nelson from the New York Islanders. The 33-year-old has spent his entire 12-year career with New York and has 20 goals and 23 assists in 51 games this season. It's the second major trade of the season for the Avs, who previously shipped star forward Mikko Rantanen to the Hurricanes for a package including Martin Necas and Jack Drury.
Off to McDavid, 10 seconds. Edmonton will get the last shot here. McDavid, one-timer score! Evan Bouchard! 3-2 in overtime!
Evan Bouchard finished off the centering pass from Connor McDavid to end the game in the final seconds of OT as the Oilers snapped Montreal's 5-game winning streak. Leon Draisaitl scored his league-leading 47th of the season for Edmonton, who had lost 6 of 7 going into the game last night. Elsewhere last night, Mark Scheifele had a goal and 2 assists as the Jets snapped a 3-game losing streak and became the first team this season to hit 90 points. They beat the Flyers 4-1 in Philadelphia. Staying on the ice and checking in on the PWHL, where the Toronto Scepters were looking to stay hot at home. They were taking on the league best Montreal Victoire at Coca-Cola Coliseum.
Minutes, 49 seconds. Fast, quick shot, tip and score! Toronto with their 4th goal of the game, 2nd of the night for Natalie Spooner.
Natalie Spooner scored her first 2 goals of the season as the Scepters earned a 4-1 win over the Victoire. It was the reigning PWHL MVP's 6th game back on the ice after she had off-season surgery to repair her ACL, an injury suffered last May during the playoffs. Now the win moved Toronto alone into 2nd place with 35 points, 6 points back of the Victoire, although Montreal does have a game in hand.
And we've seen players make this putt. Max Grazerman in the group in front.
One of the toughest holes, but Grazerman and Connors making it look easy.
Listowel's Corey Connors shot a 3 under 69 to finish in a tie for 2nd after the opening round of the Arnold Palmer Invitational in Bay Hill, Florida. Connors finished with 2 birdies in his last 3 holes and was one of only 14 players to break par in the first 18 holes. Dundas's Mackenzie Hughes shot a 1 over. He sits tied for 9th, while Nick Taylor and Adam Hadwin both 33rd at 3 over. Wyndham Clark, the clubhouse leader, at 4 under par. In a recent interview, slugger Vlad Guerrero Jr. says the Blue Jays' final offer didn't reach $600 million. The 25-year-old told ESPN that he wasn't looking for a similar deal to Juan Soto's record 15-year, $765 million deal, but that his side's final offer came in at less than $600 million, which was rejected by the Blue Jays. Because of that, Guerrero Jr. set to be a free agent at the end of this season. And the new owner of the IBL's Brantford Red Sox has declared 2025 will be a reverse tariffs season at Arnold Anderson Stadium. Well, what does that mean? The team announcing that all 21 home games for the upcoming season will be free for all fans. Terry Smith, who acquired the team earlier this week, said the decision is to honor the city's baseball roots, celebrate the legacy of the 114-year-old franchise, and thank the community for its unwavering support.
All right, 12 minutes after 6 o'clock, 7th morning of March, and it's Friday. We're looking at traffic first of all. 403 and Waterdown Road hasn't changed an awful lot, still moving okay. So no volume so far this morning. It's pretty light so far. Check some MTO traffic cameras as we usually do. Here's the QEW at 7th in St. Catharines. Not a lot to see there. Still have this disabled vehicle kind of right underneath the camera here on the QEW. So Toronto bound lanes heading toward the right on this camera, but it's a visual distraction at best. It's off to the side. 403 junction with Brant Street looks good. The Ford plant, nothing to see. And the 427 Gardner QEW combination, pretty light all the way through Mississauga. Temperature right now hasn't changed this hour. We're still sitting just into the minus column, -2. The winds are lightening off a little bit. They're now west-southwest at 23 kilometers an hour, and we do have just a little bit of light snow action at the moment. So for school today, and the last day of school before March break week next week, sunny skies today, flurries this morning, but they'll come to an end. The sky will clear, we'll have the sunshine, and we should climb to the plus side at +2 later on today. What we have is a little break between a couple of low-pressure systems, one way off towards the east, as you can see, and one it's going to go to the south of us. It looks like it's going to hit us, but just crossing Lake Erie, not really going to be a problem for the horseshoe. And we're going to see some sunshine for today, and it looks like it's going to get fairly cloudy on Sunday, but we should have some sunshine for tomorrow. Today, temperatures plus side, but just 2, 3, 1 degree. Well, everybody will get that flurry activity this morning, and then the clearing will start to move in later on this morning. So temperatures tonight, -5 and 6, so a little bit chillier. Wind chills actually -14, and we could get a couple of centimeters of snow tonight. And then tomorrow, yep, we'll see some sunshine, but temperature is going to be shy of seasonal. Seasonal's now +2. Will be anywhere from 0 to -1 for the day tomorrow. Little chillier for Guelph and Kitchener. So out the door, 7th morning of March, we are looking at some little light snow activity right now. It is windy, temperature -2. Long range coming up. Emily. And
all right, thank you, Brian. All right, you got it in there. I heard it.
It's hard to keep track of who's where.
Exactly. 6:14 on your Friday morning. Coming up after the break, we'll say good morning to Emily Vukovic with a preview on what's to come in Chit Chat. And it's been a rocky week for investors as they grapple with more uncertainty from U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs. We'll have more on that coming up. Welcome back. Let's say good morning to Emily Vukovic. Hey, Emily.
Hi, good morning, guys.
Great to see you. What do you have coming up in Chit Chat?
Ever wonder what kind of music the King listens to? Well, we're going to be sharing King Charles's Apple playlist. We'll show you what it looks like.
I'm very intrigued.
You can tell how quickly we were ready to answer that question, too.
What? Yeah. And speaking with music news, Lady Gaga's newly anticipated album is finally out. And later on this morning, Christina Ricci finally gets her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, I can't believe it's taken her this long.
I know.
thought she already had one.
I know.
Been around forever. They've given out thousands, but all right, we'll look forward to that coming up in Chit Chat. Thanks, Emily.
Yeah.
All right, checking business news. After U.S. President Donald Trump announced that he's temporarily delaying tariffs, the Canadian dollar is up 10 basis points, very near the 70 cents mark. Gold is up $3.50 an ounce, and crude is 84 cents higher, trading just above $67 a barrel U.S. Checking midday trading in Europe, markets are down in London, Frankfurt, and Paris.
Over in Asia, markets were down across the board with triple-digit losses in Tokyo and Hong Kong. And in North American markets, the TSX fell almost 300 points. The Dow lost 400, and the Nasdaq closed nearly 500 points lower.
Well, Trump's tariff plans have caused the stock market to plummet, as you saw, yet he says he's not considering the market when making these decisions.
Nothing to do with the market. I'm not even looking at the market because long term, the United States will be very strong with what's happening here.
The market has been in the red during Trump's presidency, in part due to the uncertainty surrounding the administration's trade policy. Investors are also focused on recent data revealing the extent of layoffs, particularly in manufacturing sectors, and growing concerns about the impact of artificial intelligence on job markets. Some economists say that Trump's policies could lead to a slowdown in global trade.
The parent company of Jack Daniel's says Canada removing booze from shelves is even worse than the tariffs themselves. The Liquor Control Board of Ontario released a statement encouraging consumers to purchase Canadian-produced drinks until the matter is resolved. The Distilled Spirits Council of the United States issued a statement saying the tariffs on Mexico and Canada will cause financial challenges for U.S. companies and their workforce.
February's job numbers are due out this morning. Economists expect Statistics Canada will report a gain of 20,000 jobs. The Labour Force survey will offer a glimpse of how Canadian businesses reacted to threats of a trade war before U.S. tariffs took effect earlier this week. Canadian employers have largely kept up the pace of hiring in recent months and brought the unemployment rate down from a recent high of 6.9% in November.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau became emotional while announcing a deal with 11 provinces and territories to extend the National Child Care Program.
Personal level, I've made sure that every single day in this office, I put Canadians first, that I have people's backs. And that's why I'm here to tell you all that we got you. Even in the very last days of this government, we will not let Canadians down today and long into the future.
Ottawa is working to secure extensions through to 2031 with funding increases of 3% annually. The extensions will see the funding increase by 3% per year for 4 years of extensions at a cost of almost $37 billion. Trudeau says he wants to ensure no future government could dismantle the program.
Hard to believe. It is the last Friday of Justin Trudeau being the Prime Minister.
Sunday, we'll get a new leader for the Liberal Party and a new Prime Minister, and maybe an election shortly after that. Only time will tell.
And, of course, CHCH has your coverage throughout the weekend on the evening news. All right, don't go anywhere. Brian will be back with traffic and a check on your 7-day forecast.
Good morning. It is 6:24 and it's Friday the 7th of March. All right, let's have a quick check on the traffic watch this morning because there's nothing going on. QEW east of Lake and St. Catharines, nothing to see there. Let me go back to one camera here. Yes, we do now have, emergency crews on the scene. We had a disabled vehicle. It's right underneath the camera here. So Toronto-bound lanes heading toward the right. We do have a disabled vehicle right there. Otherwise, top of the Burlington Skyway Bridge looks good. Third line starting to get a little bit busier. Sheraton, pretty light, and the 403 at Erin Mills Parkway, no problems right there. Temperature just into the minus column this morning. -2, wind chill -8. That wind is still fairly strong. Same for Grimsby and Mississauga, 0 into Toronto. So seasonal temperatures this time of year are now +2 for the daytime high and -6 for the overnight low. So even though we're -2, it's still above seasonal. Those are our sun times for the day today and our record temperatures for today as well. We'll see a little flurry activity this morning going into school. There is that chance, but then a mix of sun and clouds and 0 by the first bell, +2 for after school, so we'll climb to seasonal and we will have the sunshine. Here is the long-range forecast. 2 degrees today. Skies will clear, so we'll get the sun. -6 overnight tonight, but you factor in the winds, it's going to feel like -14, so a cold night. Maybe a couple of centimeters as well. Tomorrow we'll get some sun and temperature -1, wind chill -7. Then we get into daylight saving time on Sunday. +3, it'll be cloudy, and then look at the temperatures. 10 Monday, 10 Tuesday, 8, and then maybe some showers by the time we get to Thursday and 9 degrees. That's a check on your forecast. Back to both of them. How's that?
It's a great look. Yeah, it works, and that's a great looking forecast, Brian. All right, Pokemon memorabilia can fetch some pretty wild prices, but this one takes a crutch.
It's a flaming hot Cheeto that resembles the character Charizard, nicknamed Cheetozard. Someone bought this spicy snack for, okay, are you ready for this? $87,840 US. It was discovered sometime between 2018 and 2022 before an auction house in New Jersey sold the item. And look, there are many questions with this particular Cheeto. But the questions, mainly, I think, how did this possibly form? And also, why did someone spend so much money on it?
You may have too much money if this is what you're spending it on. I'm not here to tell people how they should spend their money, but if you are dropping $80,000
$87,000
on a Cheeto that looks like a Charizard, you may have too much money.
I agree with that.
Maybe donate it. And what are you going to do with that?
Like, that's what I mean. What are you doing with this? It can't possibly stay good for that long. Like, not that you're going to eat it, but like, do Cheetos mold ever?
Oh no, Cheetos never.
Okay.
They're Cheetos. They're not real food. Stay with us. We have more to come after the break. I'm sure I'm going to get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
Saying Cheetos.